How did President Donald Trump lose an election that he was set to win? This is Trump in January 2020, quite content. And this is him in January 2021 when everything is falling down. So what happened? During 1 year, what started as a promising re-election year for Trump turned out to be an electoral gridlock and a nightmare. In the end, Joe Biden won and Trump had to concede after the January 6th riot. In January 2020, Trump had a booming economy and every prospect looked great for him. People on the left were complaining that none of the Democrats were actually able to beat him, and then everything started to change. In December of 2019, the COVID pandemic started in Wuhan in China. It soon spread to America, Europe and all across the world, and a completely new situation emerged. The world economy tumbled, and Trump's booming economy were no longer going to help him get re-elected. Also, on the 25th of May, George Floyd, a native of Minneapolis, a black man, died in police custody. Many say that it was the knee on his neck, but it's not certain, as he both had COVID-19 and lots of fentanyl in his system. In the end, this sparked massive riots all across America, often being violent and often ending in thievery and murder. 2020 was a terrible year, and this is why Trump ended up losing. But the reasons are a bit more complex, and the guy with the answer is Alan Lichtman. His theory, the 13 Keys on the White House, changed all in 2020. In the autumn, after everything had turned out to go sour, he predicted that Trump would lose the White House, with the same metrics that would have kept Trump in the White House had he done them in January.
Can you explain what's underlying them?
Yes, the keys that stand out most important are the ones that only turned in 2020 after the pandemic and the cries for social and racial justice. Going into 2020, Donald Trump was looking great with only 4 keys down. But then we had the pandemic, which never got resolved, and the call for social and racial justice, which never got resolved, and cost Trump 3 more keys. The short-term economic key, measured by an election year recession, the long-term economic key, because despite the spike in the third quarter on a much lower base, growth is still negative and pushes down the average, and of course, the social unrest key because of what's raging across the land and remains unresolved. So Trump goes from 4 keys down to 7 keys down.
The 13 keys to the White House determine whether a president's party will be re-elected. In this case, Trump had a lot of statistics in his favor in January. He had just been impeached, which triggered the scandal key, something that Alan Lichtman explained. Because of that, number 9, the scandal, is now in the false column and going against Trump. There are now 4 obstacles in the false column, and if there are 6 or more, the incumbent party will lose the White House. In this case, the Republican did lose the White House. So what changed? As you see in the true column as of January 2020, there is a short-term economy that is strong, long-term economy is strong, and there is no social unrest. But when we go later, we can see that all of those have now changed. The economy went down the drain. Social unrest was sparked all across America, and with addition to the scandal key was already there because of impeachment. This made 7 keys go against Trump, and it put his re-election in major jeopardy. He could have some hope if there was a major rebound in the economy, but there would not be on time. And Biden surged in the last months and ended up winning the Electoral College with the same number that Trump had won in 2016. There were many reasons to expect in the beginning that Trump was going to win re-election. He did not have any serious primary contest, he was the incumbent, there was no major third party, and he had done major policy changes during his time in office. There had also not been any major foreign military failures, and the challenger was not seen as charismatic, being Joe Biden, a guy that has a lot of blunders. But in the end, Trump's odds was stacked against him. One of the big factors was impeachment. The impeachment happened on December 18th, 2019, and then the Senate acted on it during the next year. John Roberts presided over the Senate impeachment trial. The result was a Trump acquittal, but the scandal key still turned and the numbers were a bit less favorable to Trump. Then of course came the George Floyd and the following riot, which also turned social unrest against him. That, in adding with the economic consequences of the coronavirus pandemic, led to his downfall in a year that started so promising for the Republican president. And Alan Lichtman did have the answer. Had he made his prediction earlier, like in November of 2019, things would look different. Had he done this election prediction too early, it would probably have been wrong, so he waited patiently and ended up getting it right again. Anyway, that's all I had for you guys today. Please like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.